going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Hainsey coming back for another video. And today, we're here to rank the best rivalries in the NRL. That's right, guys. There are so many rivalries that we can cover in this video, but we're going to be ranking the top 5 biggest NRL rivalries in the NRL coming into the 2024 season. Disclaimer, Origin is not included. It is the biggest rivalry in Australian sport and rugby league, but in NRL, it's going to be not even going to be in this list. So it's going to be the top 5 biggest rivalries in the NRL. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're new around here, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Hainsey_YT. Alright, without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Let's go straight into number 5. And number 5, I'm going to put the newest rivalry in the league. That is the Broncos up against the Dolphins. Now, a lot of people will be thinking, well, Hainsey, it's a rivalry that's 2 games old, but it's got the potential to be one of the biggest rivalries in the game. Definitely in Queensland alone. Broncos and Dolphins, 2 Brisbane teams, the Battle of Brisbane, and with this rivalry, yes, I know, it's new, but at the same time, the hatred towards these 2 teams already, and they're from day dot, it's up there. Like, 2 teams battling over Brisbane. The Broncos have had a foothold in southeast Queensland and Brisbane for literally since their existence, but the Dolphins are challenging that, and the Broncos don't like that. For example, both teams play out of the same stadium. Broncos don't like that. They both don't like each other. Sets up to be a brilliant rivalry. The 2 games that I both went to them last year, the 2 games that set up this rivalry was entertaining, fun games, and there's a little history between the 2 teams, and it's got the potential to be a good rivalry. Definitely up there in the top 3, but it's at number 5 now. I think it's a safe option putting them. I think the Broncos-Dolphins would make more sense because they're battling over Brisbane. There's literally turf war between the 2 teams. They both share Suncorp Stadium. Redcliffe have come in and taken the north side of Brisbane, while the Broncos have to go inland like the Gold Coast and Ipswich. No, the Gold Coast have Ipswich now, so they're taking parts away of the Broncos. So, and obviously the 2 games that they've played, there's been good games. Bit of hatred between the 2 teams and the 2 fan club and the clubs as well and the fans. So I think it's a real good reason to have them at number 5. Let's move on. Coming in at number 4. Yeah, that way. Number 4, I've got Broncos and the Cowboys. The original Queensland derby and the biggest Queensland derby in the NRL. I know I can honestly think that the Broncos and the Dolphins will overtake that eventually. But for now, Broncos, Cowboys is number 4. I think that's a safe option as well. With this game, the peak was 2015-16. 2015 qualifying final, 2015 grand final. We all know what happened there. 2016, the grand final rematch, Good Friday at Suncorp Stadium. Anthony Milford, 40-metre field goal in Golden Point, the win for the Broncos. And then they followed it up, the semi-final at 1300 Smile Stadium. I was actually lucky enough to be at that game in Townsville, and how JT and Michael Morgan got the Cowboys home in extra time. That was the peak of this rivalry. It's died off a little bit since, but in saying that, it's still the biggest rivalry in Queensland. The Queensland derby, 2 teams, big brother v little brother, and the little brother has got the upper hand on a few occasions, but obviously the Broncos are going to be supreme in Queensland, and they'll always be the same until the other Queensland teams win 6+ premierships. But in saying that, there is a hatred between the 2 teams. Not a lot, though, compared to other rivalries, but there's still mutual hate between the 2 teams. But in saying that, with the Broncos and the Cowboys, at the end of the bigger picture, they're Queensland teams, and whenever a Queensland team's in the grand final, they're going to support each other. They're not going to go, nah, because it's the Broncos. No, I can guarantee you Cowboys fans were going for the Broncos on grand final day, vice versa. Same thing would have happened 2017. Cowboys were playing the Storm. Broncos would be going for Canberra, for the Cowboys. So that's why I have it at number 4. It's not as big a rivalry as the other 3 in this list, but still the biggest rivalry in Queensland, for now anyway. Moving on now to number 3. At number 3, I'm going with the Battle of the West. The Battle of the West. Panthers up against the Eels. That is the 3rd biggest rivalry in the NRL. Now, the reason why I say that at number 3, 2 Western Sydney teams, hatred between the 2 teams. I think there's a little bit of a jealousy act between Parramatta and Penrith right now, because Parramatta used to be like the foot of the Western Sydney, like out of the 2 teams there. They used to be like superior, but Penrith in the last 4 years have knocked Parramatta off their perch. They've won 5 premierships now. They've overtaken Parra. Obviously, Parra haven't won since '86. So a little bit of mock there. But obviously, both teams hate each other. Parra always seem to beat Penrith in the regular season, but Penrith reign supreme in finals footy, as we've seen that in recent times. Penrith won 3 straight. Obviously, the 2022 grand final was a little bit of hatred between the two there. Obviously, grand final battling out for a premiership. It was at the stakes that it was the highest. But yeah, mutual hate between the two clubs. They diss each other. They always, perfect for a rivalry. Western Sydney rivalry. It's good for the NRL. Solid at number 3. I think it's solid at number 3. Now, moving on now into number 2. Into number 2, it is, speaking of Para, it's the Dogs and Parramatta. The second biggest rivalry in the NRL. I think it's a solid second as well. We all know who number 1 is. We'll get to it very soon. But number 2, Dogs, Eels. Two teams that just cannot stand each other. I think it's more on the Bulldogs side than Parramatta, because Parramatta will worry about more than Penrith than the Bulldogs, but the Bulldogs hype this rivalry up. They absolutely hate Para. Yeah, both sets of fans hate each other. The clubs hate each other. The fans hate each other. Yeah, perfect mix for a good rivalry. It's always tense between the two teams. Obviously, it's more Bulldogs fans are more passionate towards Parramatta. But saying that, they live this rivalry, and this rivalry is top class and definitely up there as the top 5 rivalries. Number 2, in fact, yeah, it's just a solid rivalry, and yeah, perfect rivalry. Two teams hate each other more, Bulldogs, but solid games, solid hatred between the two fans. Really solid rivalry in at number 2. No, let's just go for the number 1. We all know what number 1 is going to be. Roosters, Rabbitohs. It's a no-brainer. The biggest rivalry in rugby league. I can spend hours talking about this rivalry. But seriously, two teams have hated each other since day dot. Since 1908, there's been a hatred there. I think the rivalry really intensified back in 1971 when Ron Coote left South to go to eastern suburbs. Obviously, players swap and change all the time. There's always, in this game, that there's always a storyline heading into this game, which is something you don't get in Broncos, Cowboys, Dolphins, Broncos, Eels, Bulldogs, Penrith, Para. You don't get that in those games. In Roosters, Rabbitohs, there's always a storyline, that headline that builds us up every week. It's just like a uncontrollable fire that just there's like tosses coal or whatever you put on it that stokes it every time we play each other over. So there's always a headline coming into the season. 2023 or 4 will be the same, building up into the rivalry. Jack White goes to Souths, builds the rivalry up. There's always going to be a headline coming into the Roosters Souths coming into round 3 this year. That's why it's always going to be supreme as the biggest rivalry in the NRL, and no one will top it. Bulldogs and Para will try. They'll always try, but they'll never get past the Roosters Souths. It'll always be the biggest rivalry in the NRL. When I'm long gone, when there's in the new generation, it'll always be the biggest rivalry in the NRL. That's why it's the best. And even though we hate Souths and both sets of fans hate each other, by God, the amount of back and forth hatred for this rivalry is so funny, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. On top of that, though, I know Roosters fans mock Souths because they were kicked out of the comp. And I know I wasn't born there, but it was one of the best times to be a Roosters fan when they got kicked out of the comp. In saying that, we mock about it, saying they were born in 2002, they won 1 premiership in 53 years. In saying that, as much as we hate Souths, and South Sydney fans will agree, we hate yous, but we love the rivalry. We couldn't live without you. So, fuck you, Souths, but at the same time, I'm glad you're here. Well, that is, ladies and gentlemen, there is my rankings of the best rivalries in the NRL. Well, let me guys know in the comments what you guys think in this video. Do you agree with this list? Would you change anything? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see if I agree with them or not. But thank you so much for watching the video, guys. If you're new around here, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Haynes_YT. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. But until then, goodbye for now.